Hey, my name is Craig, and welcome back to my channel. Or, well, if you're new around here, hey, my name is Craig, and welcome to the channel. Today, we're talking about a topic very near and dear to my heart, that being mobile games. Mobile games. We all know them, we all love them, we all get terrible ads for them on Instagram, YouTube, all the alike, you know? So a while back now, I had this idea where we're going to start with one mobile game, and we're gonna click on every single ad that pops up. Okay, now this seems like a possibly hard thing to do, considering not all the ads might link us to other mobile games, which is exactly what happened. And I think some of the stuff that happened throughout the recording is quite interesting. So we're gonna go through this bit by bit, and we're gonna see where we started with and where we ended up. So the first game we ended up playing was Color Clash, where there's two sides, and your ultimate goal is to take over the other side and spread your color all across the map. Now the playstyle of this game is quite similar to games like Clash Royale, where it's a online multiplayer game in real time, except I don't think that's exactly true because everybody in the game kind of plays like an AI, and you'll see that throughout some of this footage. They make really bad plays for seemingly no reason. The first ad we got was for a game called No Crossing, which is a nonogram tile game, and if you don't know what a nonogram tile game is, basically it's kind of like Sudoku, where you have to fill in the tiles based on the limited information that you receive. So for example, if you see the number 5, that means you have to fill in 5 tiles, 4 tiles, etc., so on and so forth. You'll see throughout the gameplay. It was quite a boring game. I also thought that the controls in this game were quite a bit janky. It seemed like it wasn't very responsive to my taps, which I thought was quite strange. That's one of the things you'd think you'd be able to get right in a nonogram game, is, you know, where you're touching and where you're placing the tiles down. You know, that's kind of like the whole point of the game. But no, it didn't really seem to work out that well, and the controls were honestly one of the most disappointing part of the game. Now the first ad I got from No Crossing was an ad for a game called Solitaire Clash, which claims you can make money off of playing the game. And, you know, the trailers for this game were quite ridiculous. It claimed you could generate some insane amount of money on your first playthrough, which, frankly, I think is quite impossible. But this game is made by a company called Avia. You're going to want to remember that. So I ended up playing this Solitaire Clash game for quite a little bit, and I actually don't really know how to play Solitaire, so it kind of ended up being me just like mashing my finger on the screen and tapping different cards until something worked, yet somehow I still scored incredibly high on my first game despite not even knowing how to play. And you may see later on in the video that this high scoring thing seems to be pretty consistent for me. I seem to have really great beginner's luck, as you'll come to find. However, the thing that made me ultimately decide to uninstall this game was the fact that it wanted me to provide some sort of payment details, and the reason for that is it wanted me to deposit money into my account so that I could continue playing, which obviously I didn't want to do for some video that's going on a channel with 70 subscribers. So I just decided to pass up on that. So I then decided to switch over to another game I had heard of and gotten an ad for in the past, which was called Fire Hero 2, which kind of plays like Space Invaders or like Galaga, something like that. But instead of defeating like enemy spaceships, you're kind of just shooting blocks that are blocking your path for seemingly no reason, and you have to upgrade your ship continually throughout the match. While playing Fire Hero 2 was the first time where I got an ad for a service called Mistplay. Now I'm sure many of you have gotten ads before for this service called Mistplay, which seems to be some sort of gift card scam, something along those lines. Maybe this could be a future video, something I could consider making in the future. Now I've seen quite a few ads with this woman in it, and I got pretty curious to who this is. And so I looked it up, and according to Reddit, this is a Helena Matson. Now, I don't know if it's Helena, or if it's like pronounced a little differently, something like that. Something along those lines. Helena Matson. Now, I'm going to want you to keep this woman in mind, as she will come up again. Now, the next ad I got for an actual game was for a game called Weapons Master. in which you have to upgrade a gun and go through different gates, kind of like those frustrating mobile ad games you see on Instagram, except, you know, I'm actually cracked, so I was playing it really good, except for the one round where I played it really bad, but we don't need to talk about that. And it was while playing this game that I got a second ad for Mistplay, which also featured this Helena Matson. In this ad, she's again clueless to this Mistplay game. You know, you'd think you'd get the memo after being told about 50 times about this Mistplay thing, but yeah. And in the same ad, there was a man who also appears quite frequently in these Mistplay ads. I've seen him a few times too. I don't really know his significance or who he is, but if I make a future video on this Mistplay thing, I will be sure to definitely research who these people are. And it was while playing this Weapons Master game that I got an ad for a game called Bingo Tour, which was also made by this Avia company. Now, immediately upon loading up the game, you may notice that these character creation screens look quite similar between the two. Now, I'm not saying they copied assets or anything like that, but I'm just saying it's really weird that I couldn't name myself Craig73 when my username in the last one was Craig73, so we had to be Craig73 too. I also, of course, used the most flattering picture of myself that I could for my profile picture. Now, you'll see again, during my first game of this bingo game, I did incredibly well. Honestly, probably better than you'd expect to do even with real bingo and random numbers. I scored, I think, 5 or 6 bingos in just one game, which is absolutely ludicrous odds. Now, you may start to notice a theme with these games that were developed by Avia in the fact that they seem to be very random chance games. Bingo, right? That is a game where it is completely reliant on luck. In Bingo, you are absolutely hoping your number gets called. Now, Solitaire you might think is a little more skill-based, but that's also kind of a luck game because you're depending on the cards that you draw to be good. Like I said, I don't really know how to play Solitaire that well, but I do know the basics, and I know that from your little pile there, you know, you are drawing the cards. And that is pure luck. That is just luck of the draw right there. So it was after rage quitting Bingo Tour that I decided to play a game called Idle Outpost, which is a zombie apocalyptic survival game. Or that's what it would be if it was actually pretty cool. What it actually is one of those tycoon games where you are hiring different workers to do different tasks, and they're really tedious and they take a really long time, and it's kind of just what's known as a hyper-casual game where you really don't have to do anything. You just push a button every here and there, and that's it. That's the entire gameplay loop. And it was while playing this game that I got an ad for a game called Bubble Buzz, which also claimed weirdly that I could make money off of playing the game. You may start to notice a theme here, a very strange theme. Now, upon loading up Bubble Buzz, I immediately noticed that this was also developed by the company Avia, and once again, you may notice that this character creation screen looks quite familiar. So, of course, I had to name myself Craig73, but that was already taken, so I had to be Craig73 too, which was not taken. And again, of course, I used my most flattering profile picture that I could. And again, you might think this game is a little more skill-based than luck-based, which was the point I brought up before, that all these games are seemingly luck-based. Now, typically I would probably agree with you that this looks like a pretty skill-based game, however the balls are placed seemingly completely randomly, to the point where it has to give you a rainbow ball so that you can pop all of them, which to me just makes it seem like you're kind of just gambling with money here. Especially the fact you have to deposit real-life money to continue playing in all 3 of these games is wildly suspicious to me. Now again, obviously I didn't want to give any of these games money, so upon winning my amazing first game, which I seemed to just have an incredible beginner luck streak, so I immediately uninstalled this app and decided to call it for this video, which honestly, I feel like I got some entertainment out of this. The entire span of this process of going through mobile games, uninstalling, deleting, reinstalling, all kinds of things, that took about an hour of my time, and at that point I was kind of like, I want to get this video done, I want to get this together, so I started recording. Now what I'd recommend to anybody playing these games is to not spend any real world money on these, as again, I believe this just is like seemingly just gambling, because it's totally random whether you win or lose, and you're always going to win your first game in these. That's the whole point. It's that instant gratification feeling. You want to keep playing, you want to continue, you want to spend more money. Again, I feel like the house always wins in this situation, kind of like just with normal gambling. So you need to be careful when you spend money on these games. But with that being said, I thank you guys for watching my video, for sticking it out to the end if you did. If not, that's fine, you're not seeing this part anyway. I would really appreciate it if you liked the video, if you could give it a like. If you hated this video, give it a thumbs down. If you like me, you can subscribe. It's free, it costs you nothing, you never have to watch another video again. But with that being said, and without further ado, I bid you all farewell. Good night, my dipping sauces.